Hi everyone, delonewolf here, welcome back to some EVE Online, and in today's video we're gonna do a little bit of talking, also a little bit of fitting, because today I want to get my Ishtar ready for operations in Gallente space, and I also want to talk a little bit about my plans when it comes to the move to Gallente space and all of that stuff. So let's maybe start with the Ishtar. So first of all, this is what I'm using at the moment. This is the Ishtar that will actually manage all of the Sansha combat sites in Highsec as well. What you should notice here is of course that we've got this shield tank setup. We've got the rigs for shield tank, anti-EM screen reinforcer, anti-explosive screen reinforcer. We've got some more EM resistances, an adaptive vulnerable, and then especially the large shield booster is what basically allows you to do your sniping with the Sentry drones. But if you're getting damage, and against the Sansha you're always going to get damage because of their lasers and their decently high optimals, especially from the cruisers, you've got the ability to use up your capacitor to keep your shields alive. And while it's not indefinite, right, it does deplete in like 38 seconds if you have everything up and running, including the micro warp drive. It will help you to basically bridge the damage that comes in on the Sansha sites. Now I'm planning to use this puppy in Gallente space, and there with the Serpentis, from my previous experience, I know that you basically don't need a tank and you can get more efficiency out of better firing drones and drones that do more damage. So we're going to switch this up a little bit. I've actually been experimenting with changing the fit up back to like a complete glass cannon fit. Everything in supporting the drones, no tank except for the damage control, because an extra drone damage amplifier really doesn't pay off anymore because of the diminishing returns. So let's show you guys what I came up with. And there's actually some pretty interesting information that I got out of that. So I created Sansha Killer, which is basically this fit here with the shield tank. And here is my Serpentis Killer that I'm planning to use when it comes to running the Serpentis sites in Gallente space after the move. So first of all, it's optimized a little bit. I had a greedy Ishtar. You could call this a greedy Ishtar 3.0, I think, by now. And obviously the low slots is the same, right? 5 drone damage amplifier 2s. Quick note on that, I took a look at some of the faction drone damage amplifiers. It's hardly worth it. It'll put you up towards a little bit above 900 DPS, but I don't think it's basically worth the extra cost. Damage control 2, it's just basically something that'll give you some resistances on your shields, your armor, and your structure. So if you get caught out by the NPCs, it basically gives you a little bit of extra time to get the hell out of dodge. Now here we've got a compact micro warp drive, because the fitting is pretty tough to handle, especially on the CPU. So this is now a compact micro warp drive. But then the big difference is I've got 2 omnidirectional tracking link 2s in there, which will help my drones, especially my Sentry drones, with their tracking, with their optimals. So I think that is basically going to increase the accuracy enough, and hopefully with putting everything into damage capable that we're going to end up with fewer shots on stuff like frigates, on stuff like the cruisers that are in the optimal range, and thus a much better chance, which normally it works out in Serpentis sites, of not having to switch to your smaller drones and not getting any damage from the rats, because they are usually blaster fit. They've got some missiles here and there, but that's really not something you have to worry about too much. And so this is the glass cannon fit. Added in there is also a Zeugma integrated analyzer, so that I can basically clean up some more sites. I do want this all-in-one option, so that I can basically do a little bit of everything in Highsec, especially in case CCP decides to change the loot tables on the data and the relic sites. Although there's not much they can do, it's basically so easy and accessible that it's pretty much regardless of what they put in that loot table, it's gonna drop in value very quickly. But I want the option, and you may wonder, why am I taking the Ishtar that I've built for Sansha space and why am I going to refit this puppy into the Gallente Ishtar? It's because I've got better ships in Sansha space, to be honest. The Gila and the Cerberus have this combination of missile and drone damage. On top of that, they've got this much better tank than this Ishtar, and they're basically more efficient because of their ability to move straight to the targets right off the bat, survive the blow in the second room of the 4 out of 10, for instance, and then get the hell out of dodge. So there is little reason for me to keep an Ishtar in a Mars space against the Sancha, while it is going to be close to the most efficient possible ship in the Serpentis sites if it does what I want to do. So that's basically the fit that I'm going with. A few things to note here. The DPS at the moment is with 5 augmented ogres. 900 DPS practically. That's not bad. And before I do that, of course, what did change with the high slots, I had like 30 CPU or something like that left, just enough for 75mm Gatling railguns. And if I add the ammo for that I sought out, let's take a look at that. Charges, hybrid charges. We've got, I think it's Javelin, that is long range. No, Javelin is short range, so if a couple of frigates would happen to come in within the range of my Sentry drones, I do think that they'll take at least a couple shots, and that this setup will take care of them. Fall-off range 5,000 kilometers, optimal at 2,000 kilometers. So anything within 10 kilometers should be doable. And if you take Spike, it's actually at 20 kilometers fall-off range and 16 kilometer optimal. So anything at like 30 kilometers is still gonna get shot. And my best hope for this, before that you saw that I just like one little laser to draw some aggro, is that we can actually get one shot in from the Sentry drone and then maybe 1 or 2 shots from the Gatling guns to take care of a frigate, for instance. The real idea behind all of this is to optimize our damage in our application so that the Sentry drones have to fire fewer volleys on every rat, and thus saving us more and more time that way, which is why I'm now going with these small Gatling guns, but with the Tech 2 munitions here. 30 kilometers should be doable, 20 to 30 kilometers definitely, and as a result I think we can speed things up a little bit, despite the fact that it's just a tiny little bit of DPS. Now what we're mostly going to be using are not the ogres, but it is of course these guard 2s. DPS here at 624, not bad. Something seems to be switching out, and so I do have the Sentry damage augmenters in this setup as well. If you want a bit of a comparison, we can quickly switch back to the Sancha Killer. Let's see if I can find that one. Heavy assault cruiser. There we go. So yeah, we can forget about that for now. Don't think I actually changed anything except the ammo. That's true. And this is a little bit weird because I lost one of my augmented ogres on one of my adventures. But if we take the 5 guards here, we've got 583 DPS, 600 and for the Serpentis killers on the guards. Not bad. I think it's definitely going to increase the chance of, and now it bugs out again. So you saw the 600 and a little bit before. It bugs out again here because something with the rigs doesn't seem to be working too well. I'll have to check this out on CC as well and take a look at it. So my expected DPS is actually like 640 or something like that on the Sentry drones. I think it's going to increase the chance to one-shot small frigates and definitely two-shot them. Whereas if you saw any of the videos against Sancha with the Ishtar, you know that from time to time with lots of misses it started to be a real problem against some of the frigates. And of course these omnidirectional tracking links should definitely help there as well. Another thing that I wanted to share, I took a look at what happens if we would take the faction Sentry drones, but that's not better, so maybe I'll quickly show that as well. So if we go for, let's see here, modules, and then we've got drones. You can go for Sentry drones, and you can take the Federation Navy Guards. Why not any of the others, right? The Wardens, Curators, or Bouncers. Basically, they're going to like 60 or even 150 kilometers at their optimal range. And I know from experience that the Serpentis sites, 40-30 kilometers is actually pretty damn good. And you can see here, Federation Navy Guards only 532 DPS. So you definitely want the, I think they're cheaper, Guard 2s. For more damage on the Sentry drones themselves, putting me at 585. But again, I think that basically these bonuses are not showing correctly. Well, actually it's showing something. That's a little weird. We'll have to experiment with those rigs. Those are still like a gray area. If we take rigs, we can take the Sentry augmenters. Yeah, now it's adding like just 0.4, but that's almost impossible from the description unless, let's see here, should add 10% damage, and I don't think it should stack with these low slots, but I think basically it does in this calculation, and you saw before what it's normally going to be. So that's the plan here for the Ishtar complete glass cannon. Of course, once I take it out in some of those combat sites, I'll give you guys a bit of an idea of how it's running. And to be fair, I think if I needed tank in any of them, I don't expect that I do, I would almost put in a quick little armor rep instead of maybe even the damage control. I'm not sure if I'll have the CPU for that, probably, or even one of those drone damage amplifiers, but then yeah, so hopefully this will work, so because the purpose is to eke out as much efficiency out of this one, so that basically it can compete with the Gila and the Cerberus. That is, I have to be honest, in Sancha space or in a Mars space against the Sancha, those ships are better, more efficient. But that is, I think, because I have to fit tank on this Ishtar in order to be able to actually handle the sites, because you always have damage application. We should see a lot less of that when it comes to the Serpentis sites. So let's quickly leave this, and then let's take a look at purchasing that. The bad news, of course, I have to destroy these rigs, but we are gonna do it. So let's get rid of these. Then let's just toss this small stuff in here. That stays the same. Item hanger. Goodbye. Did I put stuff? Nope. The drone bay, so we're definitely getting rid of you. Getting rid of these medium drones. I basically don't feel like you'll ever really need those. And then we do need one more of these augmented ogres. Whoa, 90 million in the meantime. That's actually pretty expensive. Yeah, look at those guys take off. Interesting, interesting. Perhaps at some point we'll have to look at the augmented drones as well in Eve Talk, but because that's definitely a pretty serious increase in price. 2 geckos and an ogre. I think it's less DPS than this, if I remember correctly. So there's that. I think I still have a couple of omnidirectional tracking links in here. Is that right? Yep, there we go. Oh, omnidirectional. Oh, enhancer tracking link. There we go. There they are. So here are the 2 tracking links that's put in. I also prepped some of these puppies, so I'll mostly use tracking speed, but I think in the 4 out of 10 to snipe off the battleship, you're better off with the optimal range. So let's put these babies in here as well. That is okay, except I don't see any salvage drones. We'll definitely grab them. All right, market. Salvage drones, please. Buy this. 5. Okay. Put them in here. And then for those high slots, let's definitely take a quick look back here so that I can just go for view market details. Need to buy 3 of them. Very cheap, of course. They are just the smallest Tech 2 guns because of the CPU problems, basically. Exit simulation is why I'm forced to take these. And then we still have the Zeugma. We'll be able to find that pretty easy. 104 million. Wow, that's actually also pretty expensive. All right, this does become pretty close to a gankable ship. I have to be at least a little bit careful with this, but there we go. It's the plan. We're gonna execute it. And quick bar. Now we just need the rigs, drone rigs, medium Sentry drone damage augmenters. Let's give this a try. And just to be on the safe side, if those really don't make a difference, I will then take, I think, the scope chips, because those basically increase the optimal range of my drones, and I think that would give me decent options with the guard as well. But for now, let's take a look at what happens. Can I then select these guys? Ah, you can't. Okay, let's give it a try. All of you guys out of here. That way we should see the 583 that we expect with the guards. Okay, and then let's put in our Sentry drones. Doing a little bit of testing here as well. No, look at that, just a tiny little bonus. I'll have to definitely investigate that and take a look at what's actually happening when it comes to those rig bonuses there. And oh, we of course don't need, so we can use you guys, augmented like that, and then these and these. That's really all we need. Small drones in case some frigates do come through, of course. Then you have the option to use your hobgoblins to quickly dispatch them. Ogres, well, if you find yourself in a situation where you do want to kite away a little bit and basically have the best DPS available, you've got your ogres and then you've got your guards, which I think you'll want to do most of the sites with, and then the salvage drones just in case. And then all we need is the ammo, of course. Let's not forget that. Maybe we'll do like 1,000 rounds of each. So that was in munitions. Then you get hybrid charges, advanced railgun, small. Let's see if we can buy. Well, we'll take 1,500 of each. Buy this. Buy this. Okay. Long range. Yep. And then we put everything in here. And do I have? Nope. Mobile tractor unit. Very important. Of course, also, sister probe code launcher. You've got 8 probes in here, 8 probes in there. Why do you do that? It basically automatically reloads after you deploy your probes and you do your scanning. It saves you on clicks, and it's going to be quite noticeable. This is a luxury that personally I can't do without anymore when I'm running my exploration. Well, oh yeah, of course, mobile tractor unit. Which is now down to less than 10 million, so that's really not the cost. There we go, item hanger, mobile tractor unit. And that is the glass cannon Ishtar, the Serpentis killer that I'm planning to do some exploration in Gallente space with after the move. Quick note, as I said about that move, I'm basically giving myself a few more options here. I said that I would move when the expansion launches to be able to do the resource wars. I'm still planning to do the resource wars for Gallente, but I'm basically going to start most of my preparations for the actual move and the definitive move when the expansion launches. And so I think that maybe 1 to 2 months in between there to get everything together for the refinery, to get rid of some of the extra stuff in the inventory. I mean, it's better. I worked on it a little bit here, my assets list. It's a lot better. I worked on it a little bit, but there's still some trimming that I need to do, stuff from K1Y that I'll need to move and things like that. So the plan is I'm not going to do the hard move at the expansion anymore. At the expansion, I'm going to start to playing Gallente space, probably with the jump clone, and I spent some time in MR space basically getting everything ready for that actual move, which will then take some time because in Gallente space I'll need to again build up towards the refinery, get that one going, get everything settled for the blueprints. Where do I want to do which research? A lot of stuff will still go into making that move happen. It will buy you a little bit of time, so I got one request to keep everything up and running for a little bit longer, but keep in mind, eventually the move will happen. I will move to Gallente space and services in detail will eventually go down. So especially in the research station, guys, don't put in too many 30-day research jobs there anymore. Try and scale it back a little bit so that you don't get caught off guard. But that is it for this video. I'm going to actually put this puppy in our base in Iona, and we'll see when I take it out for some exploration for the first time. For now, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.